Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Robert, the regular insurance guy. Hadn't seen you in a while. Just been out there, doing my thing, doing my insurance thing and learning and growing. Having some great experiences. This is a very good business, and I just want to talk a little bit today about um, just to some of the agents who are going through some things right now, and just for us to kind of keep things in perspective of why we do this in the first place. Of course, we can always say, "Yeah, I'm doing it for the money," and yeah, it's good money to be made, most definitely. Um, but I think for most of us, that may be the catalyst that kicks it off and gets us in. But as you get in it and you grow, the main reason is to help families in any capacity, whether you're doing final expense, term, IULs, whole life, all of that, whatever it is you're doing, in the end, the goal is to help families. Okay. So I just want to talk about a particular call I was on the other day. A young lady from Utah. I called her up. Name is Sandra. Just really, really nice. Um, in Utah, one of the states that I'm currently licensed in. And she said, Robert, I'm going to be honest. I do have a drug problem. I'm currently in recovery for about the last 3 months. And she said, I just need to get something in place, nothing too big. And I want to do it for my daughter. And I was like, well, Sandra, yeah, sweetheart, that's great. You want to have something in place and just in case. And she said, yeah, I've been dealing with this drug problem for a while now, and I'm finally starting to get clean. And I never done anything for my daughter, and I just want to, have something for her. And I said, that's great. And, I said, let's work on this and get something in place for you. Um, we did a smaller policy because that's all she could afford, which was fine. To think about it, I submitted the policy, and for the life of me, I have no idea. Um, we were going through Aetna, and it took a really long time for some reason. So at the same time, I happened to be, I had another policy through Aetna, and I submitted them pretty much both around the same time. I think I did hers first, and then the other person I was dealing with here in California, the day after. And it took a long time for some reason. It was kind of weird. It wasn't an instant decision. And so I actually called him about a week later, and I'm keeping in touch with Sandra. And I don't know what's going on and why it's taking so long. Of course, I'm thinking because of the medication and everything that she's on, they're not going to approve her. That's my thinking on that, and maybe that's why that's taking long. But in any event, after the 10th day, we finally got a decision, and I was waiting, and like I said, I had been in touch with her and keeping her abreast with what's going on. So as soon as I hear anything, hon, I'll let you know. So I had contacted her a couple of times, so she was aware. So anyway, again, about the 10th day, they finally had a decision, and lo and behold, she got approved, and I was so happy, just knowing the struggles and everything that she had been through and currently was still dealing with. I was very happy for her, so she can set something in place for her daughter. And of course, I couldn't wait to call. So here I am, 10 days later, and I'm calling, ready for this great news, and she didn't answer the phone. I said, okay. So I said, okay, I'll just call back later. So call back again later. She answered the phone, and she said, Robert, I'm so sorry. She said, I've been sick. I'm been throwing up, and I'm actually throwing up right now. And I'm like, oh no, honey. I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're, going through that. And she said, Robert, sometimes we make decisions in our lives and we have to pay the consequences. And I'm paying the consequences. She said, I'm going to be honest with you. I had a relapse. And I was like, oh no. I said, honey, I said, I was calling you to give you some good news. They approved you for coverage. They did? And I was like, yeah, sweetheart, they approved you. And she was crying, she was really happy, but she was sad that she had relapsed. And the thing about it, not only did she relapse, but within that 10-day period, she relapsed. Um, she ended up moving out of the state. She was no longer in Utah. She was in Wyoming. And all of this within the span of 10 days. I mean, everything just happened so quick. And I said, honey, I'll tell you what, I'm not licensed in Wyoming, but when you're ready, let me know. I'll go ahead and that's going to take me about 5 minutes. It's not a big deal, but let me know because I know it's important for you to have this in place for your daughter. So I I think the reason why I want to talk to you, especially you agents out there, newer agents, older agents, whatever, and trust me, I heard stories. I know there were some that's were a lot worse, but to actually get a call, somebody who's actively going through something and being sick, and um, it was really sad, and I really feel for her. But I told her, I'll stay in touch, and I will. And I hadn't been able to reach out to her and contact her as of yet, but I think the main thing is just to remember, again, like I said in the beginning, the reason why we do this to help families, to help people, and as long as we can, keep that to the forefront, I think we'll be okay. Okay. But anyway, that was a story I want to share. I'm glad to be back. You guys will be seeing this mug a little bit more. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, just let me know. Robert, the regular insurance guy, signing off. Peace.